What's up, homies and homiettes? It's your boy Hoom Boom back with another segment of the Hold Up Show. And hold up, did the president just play the Trump card? Today we're going to be reviewing videos of the infamous argument between President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky as he eventually ends up getting kicked out of the White House. And we're also going to be reviewing two articles, one from CNN and one from Newsweek, just to get two different sides of the argument to see how it's being displayed to the public. So let's get into it. Hold up.
We had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
Now, right there, this is the beginning of the hostility. It has been time-stamped that response or interruption of Vice President J.D. Vance by Vladimir Zelensky with this statement is what sparked the argument, right? So, my first question is, no, not first question, but my first statement is, he isn't wrong, right? He isn't wrong in that statement. But, bro, people who gave you, a country that gave you billions of dollars, you got to read the room and know that even though they fluffing it up for the cameras in their country, you got to know to zip it right here, right? If you want to help your country, the bottom line is to help your people, right? That you're in charge of, right? So he should have find a way to hold that as being a good leader for the overall best interest and outcome for his country, right? Let's continue on.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think
right there, mistake number two. The man's trying to answer your question and you folded your arms in an aggressive manner and then basically interrupted him. So you can already see it's heating up. And I also want y'all to look at that right there. That symbol becomes prevalent throughout this video. I just find it weird.
it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been.
Oh, see, that was. See, that was a little ruthless right there. Yeah, you ain't been in my hood, bro. Don't tell us what's going on in my hood. You a talking head in a way, like you know what I mean? Like, come to my hood before you. Oh man.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
Oh, he just told them what they gonna feel in the future. Who's gonna feel it, or who's gonna make them feel it?
God bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Right. We're trying to solve your problem, buddy. Don't tell us how we're going to feel or what we're going to feel. You're already feeling it. The foot is knee deep in your ass already.
You're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influence.
We're going to feel
I'm-
very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
Did he say they're going to feel influence? I don't think that's what he meant when he said y'all going to feel it soon too. I don't think he was talking about any influence.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself.
Does influence mean bomb or something or war? Like what did he, what he meant by it? Y'all gonna feel it soon, and then it, influence. Bro, what you talking about?
to be in a
From
very
the
bad
very
position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I was
have the cards right now. We
Uh-oh.
have to start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
First reference of cards. Let's see where this goes.
Right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War
What you're-
III.
what you're
You're
speaking about?
gambling with
What you're
World
speaking
War
about?
III. And what you
Now, when he says you're gambling with World War III, right? And he said it to him a couple times. If the U.S. is not backing him, how could he? What would be prompting World War III on his end if he's somewhat in a position that he's alone or his main contributor was the U.S. and the EU, right? European Union or whatever. So, if the U.S. backs out, is there still a threat for World War III? And from who? Would it be? Because it would seem like that would then put the U.S. on the side of Russia, China, and possibly North Korea, right? So who would then fight against them? Interesting. Let's keep thinking.
you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States
what
of
you're speaking
America
about.
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please.
He flashing that hard.
If you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can.
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn
We-
good.
He said, I know. He said, you're not winning this. He said, no, bro, you're not winning. If you were winning, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. You're here because you need support. So obviously you're not winning.
chance of
We are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone.
Bro, he said they staying strong. If you're not winning, you ain't got no choice but to stay strong because you're not winning.
And we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
allowed.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
allowed.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave.
Oh my gosh. They turning up right here, yeah. He said we gave you 350 a dummy gave you 350 billion. And he said y'all that was y'all dummy. I didn't vote for that dummy.
But they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak-
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days. This is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks. Of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this, I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I
Except-
said a lot of
except
times
that
thank
there,
you
except
to
that,
American people.
except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements.
I mean, after 350 billion allegedly, If he ain't said thank you after the first few billions, he ain't never gonna say thank you. What's this big emphasis on getting him to say thank you at this very moment? Is there something in the Q drops or something in the conspiracy channels or the conscious, the conscious squad that has something to do with getting him to say thank you? I mean, all right. I'm just trying to understand.
Rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going.
They gotta see the show.
You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
Now, just to play devil's advocate, I'm saying the man is correct, right? We gave y'all a ceasefire in 2019. We went through that, and Putin still bombed on us, right? Allegedly, this is what he's saying. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to Ukraine. No disrespect. I mean, I wasn't, right? So he's saying y'all want us to sign another ceasefire just so we could put our guns down and Putin could bomb on us some more. I mean, he's got a point since he already drug this out to the cameras with his initial clapback at the vice president that started all this. If he's already dug in, you might as well keep on, you might as well stand in your square, might as well hold it down, right? So
wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama.
again, he dug in, right? He said, yo, you saying it ain't you, but you're part of this country. You were very much a part of that ceasefire deal as he was, because you're an American. You represent America right now. So for me to go back to my people with another representative of America telling us to put our guns down again so Putin could bomb on us, right? And Trump's like, yo, I'm more G'd up than that, brother. Like, you gonna have to respect my gangster and know that I ain't that feeble idiot, right? Let's keep going.
Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets.
What kind of
The
sheets?
statement is, Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful.
You see
Let
this
me tell you,
thing?
you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards.
There's our third card
With us,
reference.
You don't have any cards.
There's a fourth cards reference, right? So that was that exchange, right? And in the midst of that exchange, this is the face of the Ukrainian ambassador where all that was going down.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you get a ceasefire faster than
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
She knows that the support is over, right? She knows this guy done messed up, right? So then immediately after that exchange, we see Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky getting Jazzy Jeffed out the White House. Oh! Uncle Phil! Oh! Right? I mean, we all expected the big guy to just, Get this idiot out of here, right? Thinking he gonna come get some more billions and some more help with these weak minerals. But get out of here before we just come take your minerals, right? So then he goes on Fox News, and this is what he has to say immediately in the aftermath.
Last thing, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Do you think your relationship with Donald Trump, President Trump, after today, can be salvaged?
Can be.
Чи можуть ваші відносини з Трампом бути врятовані після сьогоднішнього дня?
Yes, of course, because it's relations more than.
Bro, he ain't salvaging it with you. They're gonna have to get a new leader in there. Your relations with him is probably done to some, to a certain degree. Like, he probably gonna suck all your countries or all whatever resources you got for you to get peace now, because you just ruined them relationships with your, unableness to read the room of the moment.
To president is the historical relations, strong relations between our people. And that's why I always began with to thank your people, from our people. And this is the most important. And of course,
they must have immediately rushed him to whoever they felt was the top conservative media station that could try to help clean this up. That, hey, we can fix this. I'm sorry. We love your people. Our people love your people. Your people save my people, so our people love you.
thankful to President and of course to Congress, but first of all to your people. Your people help to save our people. People, the first. Human rights, the first. This is very, very important. And we are thankful and sorry for this. I mean, we wanted very much to have only strong relations, and I'm very count that we will have it.
I'm sure you did want the strong relations to people that was giving you billions of dollars that you can't account for, right? So then as the dust settled in the aftermath of all that, right, we get a statement from the press secretary, and she gives an account of the events that she saw while being in attendance.
What happened in the Oval Office, I was there, was unfortunately President Zelensky came in with a mindset not wanting to negotiate peace. President Zelensky was also antagonistic, and frankly, he was rude. He picked a fight with the Vice President of the United States. He repeatedly interrupted President Trump. And so what President Trump did was stood strong for America, defended his Vice President, but most importantly, defended the American people who, after 3 years of funding this brutal war, are sick and tired of footing the bill. The president wants peace. It was clear President Zelensky wasn't in the mindset to negotiate that just yet.
Well, I don't.
And she's right. We want peace because we no longer want to fit the bill, right? We no longer want to be involved in any of your overseas nonsense, right? It has nothing to do with us. We understand we're trying to be diplomatic and humanitarian about the situation because we don't want to see images of people dying, because America, being the melting pot it is, it probably has a large Ukrainian population that doesn't want to see their people get killed. And there's also a large Russian population probably asking, why are we continuing to fund them to keep the war going, killing Russians or whatever, right? So I bring all this up to say we've started to hear the references of the Trump card, right? And if you were part of the Q movement or paid attention or to the back channel conspiracy theory type of things, right? We've all heard of this term called the Trump card, and when is it actually going to be played, right? So, in that exchange for him to be mentioning so much about cards, and you don't have the cards, and you're not in a good position, and this, that, and the third, it made me think, is the Trump card that's being played pulling all support for Ukraine, right? Or pulling or switching sides on the war and giving the support to Russia, right? I don't know. So let's get into these articles and see how they're feeding it to society through the national media. So first we're going to get into this article by CNN, right? And it says Zelensky invades Trump's disinformation space and it could really hurt Ukraine. The Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky exploded inside what he called the disinformation space Russia has created around United States President Donald Trump, but he may have jeopardized further American support for his country, you think? Unwilling to sit by while Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance projected a Swiss-style ambivalence about Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Zelensky threw out the recognized world leader's playbook for dealing with Trump, fawning in deference and talk back. The scene was in stark contrast with the audiences Trump held with two other world leaders this week, which is true, because when my man Trump starts talking slick and letting them know what he gonna do, the other leaders, they don't interrupt him. They don't say nothing, but the body language and the looks of, you know, like, oh, what? Oh, we didn't discuss. But I need. Let me not say nothing because I don't want to set this guy off. Like, you know, we've seen it with Netanyahu. We've seen it with Macron. We've seen it with, you know. So let me continue. French President Emmanuel Macron and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer both wanted to entice Trump to deal with Zelensky. Both deployed flattery, with Macron reminiscing about Trump's visit to Notre Dame and Starmer hand-delivering a letter from King George. Zelensky was at the White House to sign an agreement with the U.S. over rare earth minerals to which Trump wants access in exchange for continued military support, but Zelensky apparently could not stomach a revisionist history in which Putin is not seen as the villain, which is understandable, but you still got to read the room, right? Trump, meanwhile, accused Zelensky of gambling with World War III. The resulting Oval Office shouting match conducted in front of reporters was a spectacle without precedence in front of TV cameras at the White House. Trump later kicked Zelensky out of the White House and issued a statement on social media. President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations, Trump wrote on social media. I don't want advantage. I want peace. He disrespected the United States of America and its cherished Oval Office. He could come back when he's ready for peace. Americans aren't used to seeing video of Trump visibly upset and clearly not at the leader of a democracy the U.S. is supporting with military aid. Vance also spoke up and instigated the argument when he said the U.S. condemning Putin during the Biden administration had only bought years of war. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy, Vance said, defending Trump's apparent trust in Putin. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chests, Vance said. Zelensky countered that Putin had broken agreements before, such as the one reached in 2019 when Trump was in office. Zelensky didn't mention it because that agreement was reached at a time when Trump was preparing to face his first impeachment trial for withholding aid to Ukraine and pressuring the Ukrainians to spin up an investigation of Biden, right? So this is bringing a lot into play right here. That one paragraph had brought a lot into play. So Trump was still president in 2019, of course, right? He got this ceasefire deal between Ukraine and Russia. Putin signed it. Zelensky signed it, right? But the negotiation was reached in the middle of the first impeachment trial, right? So Putin, seeing that Trump is under duress from his own people, Congress, and his own other leadership, that's not really a show of strength from America to be brokering a ceasefire with somebody who he feels as though he already owns that land of Ukraine, right? It's just like the suburbs of a major city, right? But he feels as though they already own the land. So, while Trump has to prepare to defend himself against his own people and other leaders that are trying to do whatever they're trying to do to disrupt his leadership for not aiding Ukraine, right? Because if we are to believe what the deep state's agenda is, it's to take down Putin, take down Russia, right? So they want all the aid that they can get given to Ukraine to fight Russia, to fight Putin, right? And Trump saying, well, I'm going to hold up that aid because I need y'all to investigate what Joe Biden was doing over there, what his son was doing working for Burisma or whoever that was funneling money back to Joe Biden, allegedly, to the kickbacks to the big guy, right? From the laptop of hell and all that, right? So you see how it was a manipulation game and intertwined. So that was a chess move by Putin to advance ground in this ceasefire that wasn't respected because the person who brokered the ceasefire is now under attack by the same people that want to continue to fund aid to Ukraine to fight him. So let's continue on. Hope you guys understand all that, and that brought more context to how all this got to this point, right? So, both Vance and Trump accused Zelensky of not being grateful enough for the aid Zelensky and Ukraine has received from the U.S., and they both also criticized Biden. Zelensky said he worked with Biden because he was who voters had made the U.S. president. No, you worked with him because he gave you billions unquestioned ass as long as there were some kickbacks to him. Allegedly, right? While Zelensky did try to interject with more thanks during the Oval Office appearance, Trump berated him, saying the war would have been over in 2 weeks without American military aid. Trump already inflated the amount of U.S. aid to Ukraine, which is less than $200 billion, by saying it was $350 billion. Hey, $200 billion is billion. We're talking B's now, right? That's when Zelensky cut Trump off, all but accusing Trump of using Putin talking points that the war would have been over in 3 days without U.S. support for Ukraine, which we all believe. Trump clearly has an animus towards Zelensky and feels kinship with Putin. Putin went through a hell of a lot with me, Trump said. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. That's a reference to the U.S. intelligence community assessment that Russia meddled in the 2016 election in an effort to help Trump's campaign. A resulting special counsel investigation found multiple contacts between Trump's campaign and Russians, but did not find enough evidence to allege collusion. The investigation overshadowed much of Trump's first term. Yeah, it did. So to find out that that was all done illegally, accountability. When we're going to see that, right? No more investigations. No more looking into, right? Start locking people up. Start charging people. Start holding them accountable. Donald Trump has switched sides in the war, and I think that it is context for the confrontation we just saw, said Susan Glasser, a journalist who wrote a book about Putin's rise in Russia. In Russia, officials were borrowing Trump talking points to praise the U.S. president for lecturing Zelensky. The insolent pig finally got a proper slap down in the Oval Office, and at real Donald Trump is right. The Kyiv regime is gambling with World War III, said Dmitry Medvedev, a top official in Putin's government, in a post on X. Zelensky, on the other hand, took to X to again thank the U.S. and Trump for their support as if the blow-up had never occurred. I bet he did. Try to blow right past that event like it never occurred, right? Thank you, America. Thank you for your support. Thank you for this visit. Thank you at POTUS, Congress, and American people. Ukraine needs just and lasting peace, and we are working exactly for that. But the damage may be irreparable. Even supporters of Ukraine and the GOP, like Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, were questioning whether Zelensky can be a partner. I don't know if we could do business with Zelensky again, Graham said outside of the White House on Friday. So, yeah. So that's CNN's side of events, right? Let's get into Newsweek, right? And see how they're giving it up. So, Newsweek, conservatives attack Trump over Zelensky clash, disaster for the U.S. Interesting, right? Now, this is saying that the conservatives are going after Donald Trump over the exchange, while CNN was saying that Trump was berating and belittling Zelensky during the exchange for not being grateful, right? For all the support that he's already got. So, excuse me. So, while Democrats were left shocked by the White House clash between President Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelensky, conservative figures also expressed concerns that the fracas had damaged U.S. standings on the world stage. The fallout continues to be felt from Friday's clash, which included Vice President J.D. Vance, where Trump accused the Ukrainian leader of gambling with World War III and not showing enough gratitude for American support. But John Bolton, a former national security advisor under Trump, said that the blow-up was a disaster for the United States, while other GOP figures also condemned the actions of Trump and Vance. But see, isn't John Bolton the guy that got his security clearance stripped away and all that, and his security detail taken away? So of course he's going to say it was a disaster, because he probably was one of the ones getting a kickback from the support for Ukraine, right? Allegedly, right? Let's keep on going. Yuri Boshkovko, founder and CEO of Hope for Ukraine, sounds like some backdoor money laundering type of thing, allegedly, which provides humanitarian assistance to the war-torn country, told Newsweek he was deeply concerned and shocked at the meeting, which throws into doubt chances of lasting peace. Well, who says? Because you're no longer getting funding and aid for Hope for Ukraine to funnel however you please? Just makes you wonder. After meeting the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio said that Trump had stood up for the interests of the United States, Newsweek has contacted the White House for comment. Why it matters. Zelensky's visit to the White House to back a deal with the U.S. over the Ukrainian mineral deposits was expected to be a pivotal moment in an effort to usher in negotiations which could end the war. Yeah, because if we got the minerals, then we would want Ukraine to stay on the map so we could keep that deal alive. And of course, we already cool with Putin and them, right? We on the same accord to some degree. We could give them a little slice of something, and then it'd have been over, peace, and everything continues, right? As long as we're getting the minerals. But as soon as they got funny with the minerals, then we would have backed out of support and say, hey, if you want to take over the land, go ahead and do what you got to do, right? That's what it sounds like. The talks going south has raised questions over the U.S. support for Kyiv in Europe, which could be welcomed by American adversaries such as Vladimir Putin. What to know? Appearing on Fox News after his clash with Trump, Zelensky said he was thankful to the Americans for the American support, but admitted that the public argument was not good for relations between the countries. As European leaders rallied around Ukraine, some conservative voices have also joined the chorus of condemnation of Trump and Vance Bolton, a fixture of the Republican presidential administration since Ronald Reagan, told CNN the clash was a disaster for American national security and accuses the U.S. president and vice president of showing their commitment of siding with Russia, right? But they're only quoting him. They're saying a bunch of conservatives, but they only have quoted John Bolton and this other guy, Yuri, for Hope for Ukraine, right? So that's not much of an argument for your report on conservatives, like there's so many having an issue and calling this a disaster. It's one man calling it a disaster. He said it spells disaster for NATO, and it is a signal to its allies that Trump has divorced himself from decades of American foreign policy priorities and that Europe needs the U.S. GOP lawmakers also joined in the criticism, such as Nebraska Representative Don Bacon, who wrote on X, "Some want to whitewash the truth, but we cannot ignore the truth. Russia is at fault for this war." Now we have another quote for someone in support of what this article is trying to say, right? Conservatives. Here's another one. Former Representative Liz Cheney, a vehement Trump critic, posted that history will remember the day when an American president and vice president abandoned all we stand for. Former Republican National Committee Chair Michael Steele described the exchange as embarrassing and an ambush of Zelensky. Now, Liz Cheney is not one that we want to hear from. She's dirty, right? Allegedly, right? We know enough, we seen enough to know she's a rhino. This Michael Steele character, not familiar, but probably part of that same gathering. And I'm not familiar with this Nebraska Representative Don Bacon, but okay. So, former George W. Bush speechwriter David Frum said that the meeting exposed the pro-Putin commitments of the president and vice president, while Pradeep Shankar from the Conservative National Review said countries, what is the Conservative National Review? Said countries now understand that the USA isn't someone you can depend on when the going gets tough. You shouldn't be depending on us. You should be depending on you so we can depend on us for us. That's why we're looking for peace for Ukraine, not being pro-Putin in your eyes, because you're no longer getting your backdoor funding, allegedly. Yurky Boykichko, founder and CEO of Hope for Ukraine, told Newsweek that the fact that no deal was signed for the Ukrainian minerals is very bad news for Kyiv, which faces a lack of clear commitment to its security. Yeah, because like they said, without the U.S. funding and backing and military support, this would have been over in 2 weeks, 3 days, maybe sooner, depending on who you're quoting, right? So, I'm not going to go over what the people are saying because we already heard from these people. What happens next, right? After the White House clash, Zelensky said he was thankful, and Trump and Congress and American people have expressed hope that there could be some agreement between the leaders. Meanwhile, Boykichko said that the tense exchange may have detracted from the primary goal of achieving a lasting peace in the region, but insists it was a setback and that Ukraine will never give up. We will not surrender to Russia, which continues to kill our people daily, even if the United States chooses to walk away, Boykichko said. Right, so there's our two perspectives. One from CNN, one from Newsweek. We've seen the clips. We've seen the exchanges. We've seen the body language. We've gotten enemies' reactions. We've gotten conservatives' reactions and pro-Trump reactions. So here's mine, right? Why I bring this up: if the United States pulls its support for Ukraine fully on all fronts, is that the trump card, right? So then I have to bring up something else, right? I have to go to the Q drops and look what I find for trump card. Drop 2936, March 3rd, 2019. Isn't that ironic, right? So one of the slogans of this movement is, how many coincidences until it's mathematically impossible, right? So a post that was posted in 2019 when Zelensky's out here yelling that he signed a ceasefire deal in 2019, right? A Q drop of, at what stage in the game do you play the trump card? Q, right? That's crazy, right? This is either the most elaborate and complex psyop ever designed or invented, that it's got to be AI run or something, or this is just amazing. There is the time traveler. There is something going on beyond our foresight, right? So then that wasn't the only drop. There was another drop, right? Drop 1201, April 20th, 2018, which was a repost of an anonymous question to Q. Trap card played. Nice work, Q, right? And then it says, Trump card coming. Q, to his response, right? So I just thought that was even more interesting, because it's like, will that lead up into more that we're not understanding? You know, like the more pieces of the puzzle that could be coming up, you know, by April or around that time, that that drop will be more understandable, of that we did witness some sort of trump card, you know. So that is why this is called, did president just play the trump card? Was he giving us some sort of comms, communications, to let us know that the trump card is about to be played tomorrow, or what is it, Monday on March 3rd, right? So it's something to look out for. It's just very, very interesting, right? That all this will go down the way that it went down. So I want to know your thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe, share, get involved, help the channel grow. It's your boy Hoom Boom. Did we just witness the trump card unknowingly? Is the U.S. pulling all of its support from Ukraine in this war considered the trump card to you? Is the characters that are coming out showing their allegiance or their disgust also giving you some indication of which side people are on, right? So let me know. It's your boy Hoom Boom, the God, the Exit 3 boy, and this is the Hold Up Show. Peace.